Welcome back to What's Arty Noobs with Channel Disturbance. This is a Challenger. It's a Tier 7 British tank destroyer, turreted tank destroyer. It's located on the south spawn of Stepsy Encounter and it's under the command of Heavy 999. Now the Cromwell, this one potentially armed with a 17 pounder, could be a 32 pounder. He's got the 32 pounder. It's much more damage. 280 alpha, penetrating 220mm of armor with standard ammo, and that goes up to 252 with the premium rounds. Now, the Challenger was actually a project to make use of the Cromwell hulls. They built a lot of Cromwells, but Cromwells weren't capable of taking on Tiger tanks frontally. They just didn't have enough penetration to get through the armor, about 60 to 60mm of penetration on a Cromwell, and they needed at least 100mm to get through the armor. So they decided they were going to mount a 17 pounder gun, but unfortunately the turret of a Cromwell just couldn't take the 17 pounder. So they had to make it bigger. And that's why the turret is oversized. In fact, this one's the 32 pounder, which is an even bigger gun. Well, it's in a Cromwell chassis, which is quite quick, but the turret's very slow to turn because, of course, it's a very heavy gun. And the weight has had a problem because it's caused performance issues for the Cromwell, still using the Meteor engine. Now, a nice bit of damage from this gun, but as I say, it's quite a long reload, 6.33 seconds, much more time than you'd find from the standard Cromwell 6 pounder. At least I think it was the 6 pounder they were using. This is the quick firing 32 pounder. And that boogie's taking damage. There's somebody's firing up at this hill. And, well, Heavy takes the wise decision to pull back. The boogie knocks the trees over whilst trying to retreat from fire. Yeah, you can always use the gun depression to shoot at the enemy. And he's found a T-54, gets a nice shot into him. 252, the guy pulls back, obviously. Doesn't want to get hit again. Of course, he didn't see where where Heavy 999 was, simply because he was using the bush mechanic. Now, they haven't started capping yet, but they are at the south end of this row on the east side of the map, and they found a T-43. He ricochets off the side of that one, and a VK is moving up. Again, he's using the bush mechanic. Unfortunately, he can't see it yet because the ridgeline's in the way. And the boogie's still taking fire, so oh! Yeah, well, he was definitely seen by the enemy. In fact, actually, the boogie was killed by a T-43, so I think that's the T-43 that Heavy 999 hit. Now, he's moved over slightly to the right, and there's a VK, can hit that guy. Fires one in, gets a hit for 308, which is the high roll. Remember, the alpha damage for these shells is 280. And he gets him with the next shot. There's the T-43 that killed the boogie. And he hits the tracks. So that T-43 knows that somebody's up here shooting at him. Tries to get another shot, but was he seen? Yes, he was. Has to pull back. Well, the enemy's capping, but we do have some people down there. There's a T-26 Pershing down there. Unfortunately, just behind him, there's a T-54. But the T-54 gets wiped out by our GW Panther off to the west of us. Now he's moved over even further, and now he can get shots on the T-43. Tries to get one in, bounces off the armour. Now the enemy's starting to come in from the west. They've killed all our heavy tanks, and that means there's going to be more work for Heavy 999 to do. Now he's in the right tank to do it though, because this tank does do a lot of damage. It's fast moving, so he can get between positions, and I think he's going to take up the sniping position up on top of this hill and shoot at the enemy as they come across. Or he's not going to go to the normal one, he's actually going to use this hill here. First target, Striv, just too far away to see him. Nice shot, gets the kill, wasn't spotted. Unfortunately, the enemy's got two tank destroyers coming in as well. And they're on the other side of the ridgeline, so he's moved to a different hill, even though he wasn't seen. We're still occupying the cap, but the cap has been reset. There's still enemy tanks to the north. He's now got shots Well, he hasn't got shots on the KV4, but he will have shortly. Now, one of his teammates is spotting that, the charioteer is actually spotting that KV4 as he moves up. There's the other ones, the ISU 152 and the AT-15A behind him. I'll pretend Baguette Panther is the only guy in the cap at the moment, but he's got a T-44 and a boogie to the north of him. And, oh, fast-moving E-25 takes a shell from the charioteer and he dies. There's the AT-15. Oh, we've got the side of him, so this should be fun. Goes for the side, gets a nice high roll for 299, but he was seen, so he pulled back. Wise decision. No point in actually taking too much damage early on. You can see that Heavy 999's got 2 marks of excellence on his barrel already. So he does know when to pull back and when to shoot, and well, he might be in sight. Yes, he is in sight, and the AT-15 saw him, and he did take a round, so he's pulling back into cover. And the AT-15 has a 17-pounder gun. There's the enemy Arty. There's 3 of them. He's only got 2 teammates left with him now. Going to try and help this CS-53 with the AT-15. There he is. That's the front of the vehicle, so you aim for the little bump on the top on the left side. There's a boogie off to his north. Oh, I'll take that. That's the KV4. That's a one-shot. Yeah, nicely done. So that's another kill, but he was seen, so pulls back. Otherwise that boogie's going to fire in this direction. He fires a shot in that direction, but the boogie gets one into him for 402. And loses his loader and his commander, but he has got the full medkit, which means he can put those guys back in straight away. Wise decision. We lose the CS-53, which means now that it's just 2 versus all of those enemy. There's 6 enemy, they're outnumbered 3-1. He's been pushed back even further, and one of the Arties actually comes south. The M44 has been seen in the channel. The AT-15A died, so he doesn't have to worry about that guy, but he does have to worry about the boogie and the ISU 152. The boogie actually fired a high explosive round at him, 502, 402. He must have known that this actually does, the Challenger has weak armor. And he managed to get a lovely round into the side of the ISU 152 to kill him. It's a nice shot for 249. He's still waiting for that boogie to come in sight. Yeah, the boogie must know that the armor on the charioteer, on the Challenger rather, is very weak. So a standard round or even an HE round might have enough penetration to actually go through. In fact, that's very true for the T-34-85 for that matter. A lot of people forget about the fact that the T-34-85mm round is big, is good enough to actually go through. Oh, lovely shot! That's revenge. The boogie just didn't react as quickly. He should have known he was here, but I don't think the boogie saw him. Or if he did see him, it was just too late. And Heavy 999 reacted far quicker and got the drop on him. So now they can go off and kill the Arty and that last remaining medium, which is the T-44. He's got 4 kills now. I think he'd like some more. There's the T-44. Line him up. Beautiful. Yeah, right into the engine bay. 227. You can stay where he is right here at the moment. The enemy's gone into the cap, but it's their GW. T-44's not showing much. I think he's going to take the GW out first. The enemy's got a GW and a Crusader SP. And the thing with the Crusader SP is never approach them from the rear, because that's the way the gun points. There's the Crusader. He's turned up as well. So, Crusader first. 1 into him. 263 low roll. But it does pen. And he's going for the kill shot. And he gets it. And now, to get a Pascucci, all he's got to do is kill the GW. Just wait for the reload. There you go. Puts one in. Receives 64 hit points of splash, but here's the kill shot for the Pascucci's. Yes! And that means a top gun as well. Now all he needs to do is kill the T-44 and the game's over. Unfortunately, we lost the Charioteer, which is a tier 8 British turreted tank destroyer, so that's a senior player to him, but, or not senior, but you know, it's a better tank. But he's going to take this guy on, and he's... There you go. Thank you very much. Very nice. He gave that one away. Very well played. Heavy 999. 7 kills. Let's have a look at the end of battle stats. It's an ace tanker for Heavy 999 in the Challenger, the tier 7 British turreted tank destroyer. He managed to get a fire for effect for doing more damage than hit points to his own vehicle, a duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him, a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits, and this one he managed to get 10. And he got some epic and battle hero medals. He got a Pascucci's medal for killing 2 enemy Arty right at the cap. He got a high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, a top gun for getting at least 6 kills, he got 7, and he got a tank sniper for doing the most damage at a range of 300 meters or more. And this was also his first ace tanker in the Challenger. When you only get the scrolls the first time, and he got it, so yes, so this is a first time. His win rate from that battle was 9,098, and he played it very coolly. He only actually made one big mistake when he exposed himself to the side, when he went side on to the AT-15A just as he came out that corner, and of course he put a 17mm round in, 17mm? 17-pounder round right through the side of his vehicle, and then of course the Boogie managed to get a good shot on him with an HE round at range. And yes, that was a bit unfortunate, but it was the AT-15A who was spotting him at the time. So let's have a look at team score. Highest damage, 3,082 hit points of damage. The next high scorer being the KV4 on the enemy team with 2,842. I suspect he was the guy who actually killed most of our heavy tanks, and his name was Awesome. When it came to kills, it was Heavy 999, managed to get 7 kills. 3 kills went to the KV4, the E25, who also got a Pascucci's medal, and 2 kills went to the CS53, the Charioteer, and the ISU 152 on the enemy team. When it came to base XP, yes, he's got the top in all 3 columns. 1,273 went to Heavy 999, 973 went to the T26E4, and 825 went to the CS53, and Heavy 999 was the only player to get over 1,000 base experience points in that game. He fired 21 rounds, got 18 direct hits, 15 penetrations, damage of 3,082 hit points, of which 1,824 were at more than 300 meters. He received 2 hits from the enemy, both penetrations I'm afraid, yes, because the armor is fairly weak, and 2 hits by way of splash damage. The penetrating shots, well, one of those came from the AT-15A, the one of the ones that splash damaged him was from the Boogie, I'm afraid, and that was a big one because it did take a lot of his hit points. It was a penetrating round with HE. 2 enemy vehicles spotted, 11 enemy vehicles damaged, 7 killed, and 366 hit points of damage assistance. Plus he got 20 defense points when he reset the cap by killing the GW Panther in the cap. On a premium count, he earned 43,029 credits, but he did have to buy some premium ammo, and he did use his premium consumables, the heavy or large repair kit and the large first aid kit, and he needed to because he did lose 2 crew members, that both a loader and a commander, and that would have affected his battle performance had he not put both of them back in. Wise decision to pack the large ones because the premium ones do work much better. And in the end, he actually ended up with a loss of 46,406 credits for the game. He earned 1,909 XP, and there was no multiplier, so that's all the experience points he took away. But he's actually, as he said, finally aced this TD, and it's a very good game to ace it in. If you can hear a dog howling in the background, one of my neighbours has got a German Shepherd, and yes, she leaves it alone for long hours, and he decides now to howl. Usually you hear my bird squawking in the background because he gets excited because I'm commenting on these battles, but at the moment during the day she's leaving the dog in. I think she's a new tenant in the apartment block, and as a consequence we've got constant howling from the dog because he's alone. And yes, it's getting a bit annoying because obviously those of us who are actually working at home are having to listen to the dog whining all the time. So I do apologise if you can hear the howling. We will have words with her and say, look, your dog is upsetting us because we're trying to work and all we can hear is this oh in the distance. Anyway, if you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like and do subscribe to our channel. And thanks for watching.